Let's go over to the great man, the chairman of, we'll work out what this is. Chairman of the Great British PAC, former Deputy Leader of Reform UK, of course, Ben Habib. Hello, Ben.
Good evening, Kevin. Good to see you.
Tell me about what's the Great British PAC?
So the Great British PAC is the Great British Political Action Committee. And what we are is essentially an organisation which has three missions. One, to make sure that the right-wing politicians in this country are actually right-wing.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice. Believe in borders, deregulation, lower taxes, promotion of the United Kingdom, that kind of thing. So that's what I call our purpose.
Good.
And then the second thing is to produce policies which deliver that purpose. And for the purposes of creating those policies, we have a platform through which the ordinary voter can make their views known, and then we will garner their views and put that into sort of policies that give effect to our purpose. So purpose, policies, and then the third thing is people. So we will find candidates, unlike the low quality of MP that typically inhabits the House of Commons. We will find candidates who we think are high quality, understand the issues, believe in the mission, train them up, get them ready for office, and then, frankly, they can go and join either Reform UK or the Tories or whoever. But our aim is to shift the centre of gravity of debate to where it should be in the United Kingdom, allow our politicians to adopt a Trumpian kind of policy without being castigated for doing so, and then create the policies and provide the individuals for our political parties to give effect to what we all know the country so desperately needs, which is saving, protecting, promoting, and celebrating.
Well, Ben, you're the man to do that, and I very much like the sound of all those missions. Good luck with that. Godspeed. Godspeed. Now, let's talk about the immigration catastrophe, because you will have seen, was it yesterday, that it emerged that it is projected that by 2032, our official population will be 72.5 million, and that involves a 4.9 million increase in net migration between now and 2032, which I think works out about 300, 400,000 a year. So this population explosion that we found out about only recently, that the Tories had deceived the nation for 14 years, allowing in as many as 1,100,000 legal migrants every year. Net migration standing at obscene figures like 600,000, 700,000 annually. Well, we've now learnt that this is going to continue at the rate of 300 to 400 a year, 5 million basically between now and 2032. And Keir Starmer, when asked, is refusing to even contemplate the idea of a cap on these escalating numbers. Won't even think about maybe putting a number on it. What's wrong with this guy?
So the Treasury, and I think our political class, is hijacked by the notion that immigration is good for the economy. And it's basically, as you and I know, immigration is a Ponzi scheme. It doesn't grow the economy. It only gives the impression that it's growing the economy for as long as it continues to go. But what we're doing is importing into this country lots of low-skilled people on low wages, giving businesses the opportunity not to upskill, not to automate, dumbing down our entire economy, undermining the British worker because he can't get a decent wage. And then in the pursuit of making money, the government is taxing us to the hilt. We are in a doom loop on the back of mass immigration. And one of the things the Great British PAC is going to do, this new initiative that I was talking about, is to allow our politicians to recognize that actually what we need is an instant moratorium on immigration. We need an immigration emergency. We need a border emergency. We need to recognize that immigration doesn't need to go to net zero. Immigration's got to stop for a period. Those who are here but don't hold British passports should not be given British passports until we've got immigration under control. There should be a program for the detaining and deportation of those people who are in this country, all of them, who are in this country illegally. And we should also be having a program for the repatriation of people consensually back to their home countries in order to get our population down and to bring the ecosystem that is the United Kingdom back to stability.
New figures out, I don't know if you spotted this story, Ben, that taxpayers are forking out every single day £3,000 for new clothes and shoes for channel migrants, the illegal cross-channel migrants.
Yeah.
And some are also offered free mobile phones, and the Home Office bill for that could be £4 million over the next 3 years. So what we're doing, we're not doing anything to deter or prevent. We're just encouraging these numbers to continue to escalate. And as I say, your thoughts on the fact that this ludicrous Prime Minister of ours, you know, he sort of almost reeled back, offended by the question when somebody said, do you think perhaps we should think about a cap on the number of immigrants we're allowing into the country? No, that won't be necessary. No, we won't be putting a figure on it. Why not?
Kevin, there shouldn't be a cap. We should be repatriating people. The cap should be in negative territory. Are you with me?
Yes.
We've got to get a grip of the problem that has beset the country. But of course, as you and I know, we've discussed before, Keir Starmer couldn't give a damn about the nation state that is the United Kingdom. He doesn't see the nation state of the United Kingdom as being an important thing. He doesn't care about borders. He doesn't care about governments being in this country. He'd gladly hand it over to Brussels. He doesn't care about British citizens any more than he cares about any other human being. He sees everyone as basically equal, whether you're born here, elsewhere, whether you carry a British passport or not. He will promote the interests of illegal migrants, absolutely will. And if you should protest against it, you will be categorized as far right, and you will have the book thrown at you. Even if you are peacefully protesting, you will be told that you're guilty of hate speech, you will be arrested, and you will have the criminal justice system directed at you. That is our Prime Minister. Yeah, and we are in a very, very bad place.
I think, I don't say this lightly, I think he hates us.
I think he does, yeah.
And I think that that ludicrous, moronic, offensive report commissioned by Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, by Home Office dorks, which suggested that any of us who think there might be two-tier policing must be right-wing extremists, far-right extremists, those of us who chose to condemn the Pakistani Muslim men who were in the grooming gangs, the rape gangs. We were accused in this report of exploiting that scandal to whip up anti-Islam sentiments. Now, all this to me indicates that we don't agree with Keir Starmer. We don't agree with those people in the Home Office, who, by the way, are a disgrace to the civil service. And therefore, they just say we are far-right extremists, which is it's an indication of their contempt and hatred for the majority of people in this country. I don't say that lightly, but I do genuinely think the Prime Minister does not like the people of Great Britain.
No, he doesn't. I mean, it's clear he doesn't, because if he did, he wouldn't be wishing to hand over control to Brussels every 5 seconds. He wouldn't cite international law in order to, give himself an excuse not to do what's right domestically for British people. He wouldn't be, instead of hiding the identity of Ruda Cabana, the Southport killer, and keeping us all in suspense, allowing rumours to spread, allowing the discontent to spread, which eventually turned into protests. He wouldn't have allowed any of that. He would have got up and he said, Ruda Cabana is a second-generation Rwandan. He's not Welsh. He's a second-generation Rwandan. He possesses Al-Qaeda workbooks. He's got ricin. He stabbed one girl 122 times. She was 7 years old. The other girl, who was 6 years old, was stabbed 80-odd times. The only reason he stopped stabbing the second one was because he was trying to behead her. And we will stop this from happening on our streets. We will bring it to a halt, and we will stop progressive discrimination in favor of those people who come to this country, giving them the protective blanket they need to hold us in antipathy and do the things that they wish to do to damage this country. And I will protect this country. And if he'd got up and he said that, Kevin, we wouldn't have had the protests. He wouldn't have had to get up and categorize everyone as far right. The criminal justice system wouldn't have to be deployed. And I think we've got 71 odd people in jail at the moment because of things they said, not because of things they did, but because of things they said in those protests. The whole country needs a reset. And that's why we've got to make it completely normalized for us to have a discussion without fear or favor about what's required in order to reset the country and how we do it.
Let's just have a quick recap about the way this country runs. The white far-right extremist who assassinated the Labour MP Joe Cox was a white guy. The body politic were down on him like a ton of bricks within seconds. He's a terrorist. He's a terrorist, obviously. The guy, the Welsh guy who watched that BBC drama about the Rochdale rape scandal called Three Girls, he watched it, was so enraged, he climbed into his van, drove up the M4 all the way to London and drove into the worshippers outside the Finsbury Park Mosque, killing one of them. A deplorable thing to do. He was white. The body politic, he's a terrorist! He's a terrorist! Axel Cabana, a young man of colour, the son of Rwandan migrants, he's not a terrorist. He's not a terrorist. My point about him, and any circumstances like this, Ben, is that old saying, isn't it? If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck. Now, I would say, call me controversial, but I would say that someone who had in their home enough ricin to kill thousands of people and an Al-Qaeda manual written by an Islamic terrorist, an Islamic extremist, I would say that that person is in all likelihood a terrorist, and yet our body politic, our Prime Minister, the police, no, he does not conform to the legal definition of terrorism. This is absurd. This is absurd.
It is absurd. And, you know, they will hide behind the, they'll say that, they have said that we couldn't reveal his identity because we didn't want to stoke trouble and blah, blah, blah. But they tried to mislead us. I know they're lying, because they tried to mislead us. They described him as a Welshman. Now, he may have been born in Cardiff or wherever it was, and he may therefore technically be Welsh from that definition. But the reason they said he was a Welshman was not because he was born in Wales, but because they wanted to conjure up an image in our minds of a farmer with a bunch of sheep doing typically what we would expect Welshmen to do. They wanted to deflect from reality.
Yeah, don't forget, Ben, then the Merseyside police, in the wake of that terrible incident in Southport, the murders, released a picture of the perpetrator when we finally knew his name, and it was a picture of him as an angelic 12-year-old choir boy. Now, why didn't they release a current picture? I'll tell you why they didn't do it, because that might have made us think badly of him. So here's a nice picture. What a lovely little kid. They think that somehow or other we're going to think better of him. Well, call me old-fashioned, but when somebody has just stabbed to death three poor little schoolgirls, I tend to think badly on them, and no amount of angelic pictures is going to change that. It is pathetic. It is pathetic, and it's got to stop.